This training covers Chapter 10, Creating Menu Procedures. This training is presented by the Oregon Department of Education Child Nutrition Programs, also known as ODE-CMP. In this training, we will cover what is a menu procedure, the steps to creating a menu procedure, and using the ODE-CMP menu procedure templates. By the time you are done with this training, we hope you will understand why menu procedures are required and know what information is needed to create a good menu procedure. So what is a menu procedure? A menu procedure is a written procedure that covers the CECFP requirements for meeting meal pattern and maintaining menu records as covered in the 7 CFR 226 regulations. The procedure must cover tasks that must be completed to meet meal pattern and menu requirements, who is involved with all the related tasks, when the tasks will be completed, and how the requirements or tasks will be met. Documentation in CACFP is all about ensuring you are meeting CACFP requirements. Written procedures are required to ensure that there are internal controls in place. This is part of the requirement for program accountability, which is one of the performance standards of CACFP. Written procedures must be created before implementing these procedures in real life. Having these procedures written out helps to ensure that it is being performed the same way across your entire team. Sponsors will need to update procedures as needed. This can be due to situations changing, ODE-CMP findings, or because you want to try something new. Written procedures can be used to train your staff and is a helpful tool in ensuring continuity of practice throughout your team and over time. Different sponsors will have different circumstances, which will require different procedures, but all sponsors will need to meet the same CACFP requirements. In all cases, sponsors are expected to be following and actively practicing the written procedures they wrote for themselves. Policies and procedures are the backbone of the CACFP and provide a written guide of what needs to happen and the steps to make that happen. There are 3 key elements for all procedures. First, the policy acts as the what. Essentially, what do you have to do to meet CACFP regulation? Next, the procedure lays out the how. How will you get to the what? What steps do you need to take to meet regulations? And finally, verification is the check, the double check, if you will, to ensure that the steps laid out and taken will truly help you to get to the what. So we have our what, our how, and our check. Taking the what, how, and check, we can break it up into a 4-step process to create CACFP menu procedures. The first step is to use ODE-CACFP's Policy and Procedure Manual under Chapters 9 and 10 to figure out what you have to do with CACFP menus. Sponsors with infants in care will also need to check Chapter 11. Before you can start creating procedures, you need to understand what you must adhere to. You can also check out the associated Chapter 9, 10, and 11 YouTube trainings we have available. After you have a good understanding of the CACFP requirements, for Step 2, you will look at your own organization and think about how to apply meal pattern and menu documentation regulations into your daily operations. Do you have an outside vendor who provides the entire meal? Do you create meals in your kitchen? Which staff will be responsible for making meals? How will you track supporting documentation for your menus? All of these are questions you have to think about before you can draft your procedure. Once you have thought through your process, you are ready for Step 3, where you will write out the step-by-step processes for each policy. These are the written procedures, where you will answer the questions who, what, when, where, and how. Finally, once you have drafted the procedure, you can go through and incorporate a double-check system into all the procedures. This is the verification or the check that is required. What are some of the meal pattern and menu documentation tasks that need to be added into your CECFP menu procedures? It includes creating a menu that meets meal pattern requirements and ensuring that required documentation was saved for all planned menus. Then reviewing the planned menus and supporting documentation to make sure that you have all required components and meet all nutritional standards. Then, after meals are served, having someone review the working menus to ensure that meal pattern was met before you submit any claims. And throughout this whole process, that any meal accommodation requirements were met. If you don't want to start from scratch, ODE CMP has created two optional CECFP menu procedure templates. One which is a narrative template using Microsoft Word, and one which is a fill-in template using Adobe PDF. Both templates provide an easy way to understand all required CECFP duties. These are comprehensive templates covering the CECFP procedures that would apply to most sponsors. These are not required templates, so sponsors do not have to use them unless required due to varying circumstances. Outside of those situations, sponsors are welcome to adjust the templates, add more information, or delete out sections, or simply create their own. Here's a quick look at both templates. The narrative procedure using Word has sections that can be filled in and is helpful for procedures where sponsors would like to add in more details, and it is easier to edit this template to add in more information or to delete out sections that are not relevant to your operations. The PDF fill-in option has a first page with a management plan section to help you tie in the procedures to your management plan that you have to fill out yearly, and it provides checkboxes and fill-in forms in a question and answer format to allow you to provide a quick response. We can take a look at the fill-in template under the section for maintaining CECFP menu records. This section is on page 2 of the PDF template. You can see that it asks several questions about who is responsible for creating a menu, the backup position for this task, menu cycle length, and position responsible to ensure menu meets documentation requirements. Sponsors will need to fill in the table cells to the right in light blue. These templates help less seasoned CECFP operators to think about their CECFP tasks and can be a helpful tool to guide new sponsors in thinking about how to set up their CECFP operations. In both versions of the template, there are additional details that provide guidance on CECFP requirements, and links are provided in the PDF version to additional resources. There are also space in each of these templates to document the resources that are used. This can help future staff with implementing these practices if there are staff turnover or if staff are out sick for an extended period of time. To help you make the most of your written procedures, as a best practice, it's always a good idea to review the CECFP meal pattern and menu planning page for helpful resources. The link to the page is in the description section below. In addition, make sure that any staff titles that you list in the procedures match with the actual titles for the staff at your organization. This way, there's less confusion about who is responsible for what. Any double checks or verifications must be assigned and completed by trained staff. It's not a double check if the staff checking doesn't understand what they should be checking for. When it comes to reviewing your procedures, annual reviews are helpful to assess and check out if your procedures are still accurate. It's often helpful to complete this prior to annual training or when training new staff. Having accurate procedures make this a good tool for training relevant staff. In this training, we covered what a menu procedure is, the steps to create a menu procedure, and how to use the ODE CMP menu procedure templates. ODE supports equity and excellence for every learner. This institution is an equal opportunity provider. Thank you for taking this training.